That's it. We made it 100 miles on a Kugoo electric scooter. 100 miles, man.
Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog. We still got about 20 minutes until school starts.
Yeah, we left early. Ah, slashing out.
Yeah. The beach looks really nice.
Slashing out.
Yeah.
Show them the beach. How quiet it is.
My arm's in the way. Super quiet.
Look at the sand, oh, looking all pretty.
It's never been that perfect. I've seen bits of it being that perfect, but never that perfect.
Oh wow. It's beautiful, mate.
Going to school, we're going the long way because we left about 20 minutes early.
Yes. We wanted to see the beautiful scenery.
Very quiet. I don't think I've ever been down here this early, mainly because I'm lazy and don't want to get out of bed. What do you rate the scooter out of 10, Dad?
I give it 12 out of 10.
I give it 9.
Do you?
Because I haven't rode it on my own yet.
It's my favourite way to travel.
We're off to school.
Bye.
How do you turn this thing off?
Okay, we've done almost 100 miles on this scooter since I've had it. So let's get to 100 miles and let's do a 100-mile review. "97 miles so far. I need to take my hoodie off. It's boiling. Three miles to go. "98. I wanted to try and explain what this thing's like with hills, because it's quite difficult because you can't really see how steep a hill is. Well, let me just tell you, this is a pretty steep hill here. Anyone local would tell you that. And it's long too. Well, this scooter will climb it. I've climbed this. It goes down to like 3 miles an hour at the top, but it'll do it. But as a consequence, it'll kill the battery really quick.
Please help us keep it that way by bringing your litter and rubbish off of the beach and putting it in the bins provided.
99 miles. Almost there. If I'm riding anywhere busy, I always keep it in a lowest gear. You only do a maximum of 10 mile an hour then. And when I say busy, I don't mean like busy. I mean, this is what I class as busy. If it's super busy, guys, I just push it. I'm going to keep riding it round under the shelter now until we get to 100, just so you can see it turn. You can see it better, see, in the shade than you can in the direct sunlight. Miles. That's it. We've made it. 100 miles on a Kugoo electric scooter. 100 miles, man. And I tell you what, right? I've enjoyed every mile. Okay, after 100 miles, what's this scooter like? Well, I'll tell you the positives and I'll tell you the negatives. Now, one of the comments I had with this scooter was every couple of times you use it, make sure you tighten the nuts. And what brilliant advice that was, because this in particular does tend to come loose, but you can over tighten it because otherwise the brake sticks on. So that's one that keeps coming loose. But as you can see, it couldn't come off if it wanted to, because it's going to hit this guard here, and that's the same on the other side. See, it can't physically come out of there. So that's not so bad. But I did notice the first time I tightened the nuts, a couple of them were, you know, not loose, but they would tighten. Okay, so the screws we have lost. We lost two little grub screws. It's rattled out of here. As you can see on both sides, those screws are gone. But what do? All they do is they keep that on that. So it's no big deal. If I wanted to, I could find a couple of little screws and replace them, but it doesn't bother me, so I haven't worried about that. The kickstand. Now the kickstand started rattling to start with, and eventually it was hanging on by one screw. So I took it off, and to be honest with you, I haven't really missed it, because you couldn't use it properly anyway, because it stood too upright. Something like that. Okay, so let's talk about how fast this thing will go. In speed number 1, it won't go any more than 9-10 mile an hour. Speed 2, I'll do 13 mile an hour, and speed 3, with me on it, does 17 mile an hour. I have clocked 18, but it's usually about 17 mile an hour. But on a whole, guys, I love this scooter, I really do. The downsides are the brakes. Now, that might seem like a big downside to you, but it's all about getting used to it. When you push the thumb brake, it actually slows the motor down, which does take a bit of getting used to. And if you want to do an emergency stop, you need to use the back brake too. But honestly, after I've ridden it a while, it's no issue whatsoever. And the light, I got no footage of me riding in the dark, but I have ridden it in the dark, and I mean like pitch black, coming down lanes where there's no light at all, and it's more than adequate. It's really good. A lot of other reviews have said it's difficult to fold down, but it's all a technique. Let me show you. Foot on the back, shoulder against there, put pressure on the handlebars, and it pops down. no problem at all. As far as carrying it, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I've carried it over the rocks and over the beach, and it's not an issue at all. So what would I rate this scooter out of 10? I think value for money, I would give it a 10 all day long. There probably are better ones on the market. You know, if you've got disc brakes on it, front and back, it's obviously going to stop a lot easier. But for a scooter that's just over £200, 10 out of 10. So, would I recommend this scooter to you watching this video? If you're a child, no, I certainly wouldn't. It is quite fast, it is quite vicious off the back, it is a very quick scooter, and I don't think, especially if you're under the age of 14, you should be riding one of these. The scooters which are less powerful, which I think would be more suited to a younger child, but for an adult, it's absolutely fantastic. And yes, I would recommend it to you. Value for money, I don't know, it was under £210. The build quality, honestly I can't fault it. Apart from a couple of screws that's rattled loose, I never feel like it's going to break. It's brilliant. As far as charging, it takes 4 hours from empty. But obviously if it's not empty, it'll take less time. Some other reviews I've seen, people say about the solid tyres being an issue. For me, I don't find that. I find that I'd rather not have a puncture. It can get a bit bumpy, but I find if I stand on tiptoe, it's not an issue. So if you're looking for a cheap scooter, electric scooter for an adult, this is really good. That's my review. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. It's not a paid review in any way. This video is not sponsored. It's my honest review. Yeah, go and get yourself one and enjoy it. Thank you for joining me. Don't get lost or squashed, and we'll speak more soon. Bye.